Well, hello there. I've been expecting you. Are you ready to embark on a grand new adventure? I thought as much. You seem to be quite the adventurous type. Lucky for you, I have just the adventure to send you on. Welcome, trainers, to the Okkona Region. Welcome to the world of Pokémon. My name is Forest Hemlock, and I am what's known as a Pokémon professor. Pokémon are wondrous creatures, as I'm sure you know, and they are still as magnificent and mysterious as they have ever been. I've been fascinated with them as long as I can remember, which is why I took up a career in Pokémon research. Recently, I've been studying Pokémon here in the Okkona region, and it seems that this is your first visit to Okkona as well. As a newcomer, you're going to have quite a lot to pick up on, as there are going to be many places, people, and Pokémon here, the likes of which you've never seen. However, I suppose that's what makes an adventure all the more grand, so allow me to cease the introductions and let us be on our way. A world full of dreams and adventures with Pokémon awaits us. Let's go!
Hello everyone, Hoops here, and I would like to formally welcome you to the world of Pokémon Crimson and Ivy. This is the beginning of what I plan to make into a video series showcasing what the Generation 10 Pokémon games could be like, but in the format of a Fakemon Region series like my previous Pokémon Cardinal series. Many of you have asked to see another series like this over the years, so I really hope you'll enjoy it. As I mentioned, this series is meant to give a glimpse at what the next generation of Pokémon games could be like, and is my interpretation of the kind of thing that I think Game Freak could do with the next generation. Since Gen 10 is obviously going to be a monumental occasion as the first double-digit Pokémon generation, and could also possibly release during Pokémon's 30th anniversary in 2026, I have framed my concept for this generation around celebrating these two tremendous milestones. And as you will see throughout this video, and this series as time goes on, this will be the prevailing theme of Pokémon Crimson and Ivy. I have built this idea for a new generation on the concept of a sort of soft reboot, where due to these milestones that we are celebrating, Pokémon is returning to a more classic Generation 1 type of form, but with the new, modern amenities that the newer generations enjoy. So it's meant to feel fresh and new, but classic and nostalgic all at the same time, which I believe would be a phenomenal way for Gen 10 to go, given the circumstances. This is where the name of the series comes from as well, as Pokémon Crimson and Ivy are themed around the colors red and green respectively, which pays homage to the very first Pokémon games that ever released, but again in a more modern style. It also provides us with the concept of the Okkona region as well, as Okkona is a region that is based on Japan, and is more specifically based on Japan's Chugoku region. By the time Generation 10 rolls around, it will have been 6 generations and about 20 years since we had a Japanese-based region, and the idea of getting a new Japanese region is one that has picked up a bit of steam in recent years. After all this time, I think it would be amazing to return to Japan with a new region, and it would also make a lot of sense thematically with all the milestones that Pokemon will be celebrating soon. So I honestly think that that is the most perfect setting for a Gen 10 region to be, because there just isn't another place out there that could really encapsulate these awesome milestones any better, in my opinion. With all of that said though, that should give you a good idea of what the basis of Pokémon Crimson and Ivy is all about, and what the inspiration behind the series is as a whole. I'll be popping in here and there as well to provide more background on things throughout the video and the rest of the series, but I also want to get out of the way as much as I can to let this region play its story out for itself. So without further ado, I'll turn the time back over to Professor Hemlock.
So, Cole, Clover, you're ready to go on a Pokemon adventure, are you? You've been living here in Okkona, where I conduct my research since you were babies, but I guess everybody has to leave home someday.
Uncle Forrest, I made it! I'm ready to get my starter Pokemon!
Ah, Connor, good of you to show up. Cole, Clover, this is my nephew Connor. He lives next door to us over in Rusikawa. I promised him a starter Pokemon as well.
What? These two are also getting a starter? Well, whatever. I'm getting my first pick. My uncle is the professor, after all.
Heh. Well, I can't argue with your logic. However, I think us Hemlocks can show a little grace and let Cole and Clover pick first.
Are you kidding, Uncle Forrest? I guess family means nothing these days.
Boy, you'll be fine, trust me. Have a little patience. Now, allow me to show you the starter Pokemon that you have to choose from here in the Okkona region. This is Paparoot, the cotton ball Pokemon. It is the grass type that trainers in Okkona can begin their adventures with. Paparoot are very playful and also very loyal. They make for a great first companion for any young trainer to have. Next up is Snakindle, the fire snake Pokemon. Snakindle are happy-go-lucky little creatures that buck the stereotypes of other snake-like Pokemon. They're very friendly and are very quick to warm up to their trainers. Just don't let their fiery flame collars burn you. And finally, we have the water-type starter Pokemon of the Okkona region, Totrot. Totrot is the waterfall Pokemon, and it is a small, timid little thing. Of the three Okkona starters, it is certainly the shyest and most sheepish, but it is a starter Pokemon for a reason. If you can raise it right and befriend it properly, it'll prove to be a powerful and beloved ally during your travels. Cole, Clover, the time has come. Go ahead and pick your starter Pokemon, and, if there was anyone else out there who may be watching these events unfold, I'd love to know their choices as well. Maybe they have some comments they'd like to leave about this. Anyway, Cole, Clover, make your choice.
Yeah. Hurry up and choose what starter you're gonna pick so I can pick the better one.
Alright, Connor, it looks like it's your turn to choose.
Looks like you guys picked wrong, because I definitely got the best starter here. I'd say we could have a battle to test our choices, but I already know you would lose. I'm gonna head out and look for some more Pokemon to fill out my team. If I see you around, and only if, maybe then I'll give you the whooping you deserve. Later, losers.
Oh, that nephew of mine, he's certainly a handful. He has grown up in the lap of luxury all his life due to a breakthrough in my research I had about 30 years ago. It made the Hemlocks a household name in Okkona, and resulted in quite a lot of fame and fortune for my family. As a result, Connor can be a little snooty sometimes, so you'll have to knock him down a peg if he starts becoming a little too cocky. Oh, what was the breakthrough in my research, you ask? Well, how about I save that for another day? I can tell you all about it when we have a little more time. We're getting a bit too distracted, though. It's time you two headed off. I recommend heading west to Rusikawa, where Connor lives, and then on to Olimori, where you'll find your first gym. The goal of any trainer in Okkona is to defeat all 8 gym leaders, and then take on the Elite Four for a chance of becoming the Okkona League champion. I know if anyone can do it, it's you two. So go on, get out there. A grand adventure awaits.
Hey, wait up. Sorry to bother you. I just wanted to apologize for how Connor treated you. He can be a bit much, so I'm sorry if he gives you the wrong impression of my family. Oh, that's right. I haven't even introduced myself yet. My name's Caroline. Connor is my cousin, and Professor Hemlock is my dad. You can't really be involved with Pokemon here in Okkona without running into some of the Hemlock clan, so I figured I'd introduce myself. You may see me out and about as I help my dad a lot with his research. He hates doing fieldwork and prefers to bury his nose in the books at his lab, so I tend to help him out a lot. Anyways, though, I'll let you get back to what you were doing. I hope to see you around sometime.
So, it looks like we've gotten a chance to get acquainted with this new region, meet some new Pokemon, some new characters, and are prepared to set out on a brand new adventure. But there's one thing that we haven't actually seen yet to this point. Usually, when you start up a new Pokemon game, you take the cartridge out of its box and put it into your console, and on that box is the box art of the game, which features that game's central legendary Pokemon. The same would also be true for Pokemon Crimson and Ivy if this were a real game, and when you picked up the box and were ready to play, you would see this if you decided to play Pokemon Crimson, and this if you decided to play Pokemon Ivy. As mentioned, depending on which version of the game you decided to play, these would be the legendary Pokemon that you would eventually encounter within them. But in order to find out what they truly are, you obviously have to play the game, or in this case, keep watching, if you want to truly discover who these legendary Pokemon are and what they are all about. So tune in to the next episode of Pokemon Crimson and Ivy, which will be coming soon, and subscribe so you don't miss it, and get ready to embark on a grand new adventure. And as we embark on this grand new adventure, you'll also get to see some of these designs become the real thing in Histrobi Chronicles, the monster-catching video game that I am currently developing. I've already mentioned how Pupperoot, Snekindle, and Totrot are coming to the game, and as we move throughout the series, I will also be migrating more of these monster designs into the game as well, and you will be able to vote on which designs you'd also like to see in the game as well. It's going to be a ton of fun, so stay tuned and don't miss out, and thank you so much for watching this episode, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.